Hey, what's up? It's Marwin. Today I'm making Texas style chili. I'm a Texas guy, so we got rules to this thing. You can make Texas chili by the letter of the law or the spirit of the law. I'm a letter of the law kind of guy, so that means no beans, no vegetables. It's just beef, chilies, and chili gravy. For me, that looks like starting with beef chuck. I like mine partially frozen. It's a lot easier to cut that way. But that's the starting point. Chili is beef, not lamb, not chicken, not turkey, not pork. It's beef. Okay. Again, letter of the law, not spirit of the law. Now I won't shame you if you wanted to use other things and call it chili. That's your prerogative. But just know, for me today, making chili, we're sticking to the rules as defined by like Texans. I know there are some Texans that use beans, but we're not talking about those guys. So those are outliers. So I got my beef chopped up, diced up real nice, simply seasoned salt and pepper. Set aside, let it come to room temperature before I cook. Now, chilies, beef, chilies, chili gravy. For my chilies, I got fresh chilies, I got ground chilies, I got dry chilies. I got a mix somewhere between 6 to 8 chilies, types of chilies at any point in time, a lot of complexity. Remove the veins and the seeds if you want a mild version of the chili. Keep them in if you want that heat. Play around, mix and match depending on your heat preferences. I like to mix my spices up together and then add as I go for those layers. As you can see, like I'm consistently removing seeds and veins from the chilies, the dried and the fresh, same approach. The ground chili that I'm using has a little bit of heat to it, so I'm not as worried about, the fact that I'm making these milder versions of these chilies, right? Rehydrate those dry chilies using water, and then make a nice chili puree with some garlic, and some of the spices, and some of the liquid you use to rehydrate. This is kind of like the makings of that chili gravy, and I'll show you a little more as we kind of get into the heart of the dish, right? But for now, you've seen the key elements. You got the beef, you got the chilies. Now we're working on that gravy, and that's Texas style chili made by the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. All right, I'm gonna let that go. We'll brown the chilies. Brown the beef. I like a nice chuck. You can use ground chuck if you want, but I like to just kind of put in the work and chop mine up myself and get that really beefy vibe. You take it off, leave that render fat behind. Let the beef drain on a plate, line with a paper towel. So like really onions is like, that's the vegetable and the chilies that you use in chili. I know some people use tomatoes also. I'm not that guy. I'm gonna keep it strictly peppers, onions, and that's the extent of my vegetables, right? I'm not even considering garlic a vegetable. Like I said, I season as I go. And then I'm gonna do some things to add some depth, add some complexity, like this stout beer. It's got a lot of flavor, it's got a lot of color, it's got a lot of complexity. It adds some depth to the dish. But I'm basically gonna add it, and then I'm gonna reduce it. I want to cook the alcohol off. I want to concentrate all those different elements, the malts and different things that are in the dish. In the beer. Those flavors just add some more character to this chili, right? So if you think about chili as being chili, beef, and gravy, the gravy is where you can really kind of put your own spin on things and kind of add the depth and add the complexity, add the character, right? And so that's why I spend a little time kind of tweaking things, right? That's the only really area that I mess around with, right? So you can add that chili puree to that cooked down, reduced beer mixture, and just give it some time. I like to let it cook a little bit, let some of those flavors come together before I add the beef. As I mentioned before, I season as I go with my spice mix. You get that layered effect, depending on when you add different ingredients to the chili pot. I got some low sodium beef stock that I made. You can buy, you can use store bought, but I like to kind of make my own. Again, thinking about ways in which I want to add flavor to my gravy, the stock is definitely one of those opportunities. And so I'm gonna let that cook. You see I got that color I want. It's like that dark red, dark chocolatey almost color, which is just my preferred color. All right, add my beef back. And you're gonna cook these at a low simmer for a few hours. You want that beef to get really nice and tender, as you know, so that when you're eating on this, it's just kind of a good experience. And then you can, I added some bay leaf, to it to just kind of get some of that herbal element or that grassy element to the dish. But I'm good. I let that cook for a couple of hours. After it's pretty much done, I cheat. I add a little bit of sweetness to my chili in the form of this, dark chocolate, and it just adds to the flavor profile of that gravy, and I'm good. Now it's only a question of what am I going to garnish this with. I tend to keep mine pretty simple, but again, I'm not the police on like how you garnish your chili. I'm not trying to shame you into anything. A little cheese, some jalapenos, red onions, maybe a little bit of cilantro. It's kind of my vibe. Kind of brighten it up, add some color, make it a little more interesting, and that's the dish. If you make it, definitely use this as your base and, add your own spin to it. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment. Most importantly, hit that red subscribe button and get recipe updates to your inbox whenever I post new content, which is generally weekly. Thanks for vibing with me. Until then, I'll see you next week. Peace out. Word.